interesting, what's more stupid is the suffering that human beings make in this world with their own thinking. Read the papers, turn on the news. It's all created by human beings thinking and desire and attachment to desire. So a retreat means letting that go and returning to what is the fundamental basis of my existence. What am I? When you ask that question, all thinking is completely cut off. When you ask, what am I? When I was born, where did I come from? When I die, where do I go? When you ask that question, you're thinking, it can't go anywhere. That point, before thinking arises again, that point has no name, has no form. There's no coming, there's no going. There's no me, there's no you. There's no life, there's no death. No God, no Buddha. If you call it something, it's a mistake. But some people, when they talk about it, they call it God, or Buddha, or Christ in nature, or the Holy Spirit, the absolute, holiness, true self, true nature, Allah, Yahweh, enlightenment. But has no name, no form. So experiencing that, really experiencing that, and functioning from that point, not from your thinking, not from your religion, from your fundamental nature, operating from that, you help this world. Because your nature and my nature, that same nature, it's the same thing. It's the same nature. But when we call it something, Holy Spirit, then it's different. But fundamentally, it's not same, not different. It's like the space in this room, yeah? Space. This is Korea, yeah? This is a space in Buddhist television room, yeah? This space here. Here we go. This is Buddhist television space. But this space right here that you can grab, maybe, and the space in the lobby of Butler Library right now, you say, this is Buddhist television, that's Butler Library. But it's the same. The space is the same. The space, this space and that space, it's the same nature. But human beings are attached to name and form and deluded by name and form, so they don't see it's fundamentally the same. Same with me, same with you. So a retreat is just a way of, for some period, letting go of the normal things that we have to do with life, setting up a structure, and then being able to have time to look into that, to have experience of that, to have taste of that, and then functioning from that point. So, how can I prove that your space and my space, that your nature and my nature, and his nature and his nature, and her nature and her nature, how do I prove that's the same? How do we prove it's the same? Buddhism is very scientific. So I can prove that your nature and my nature is the same. I can prove it right now, scientifically. You and I both heard that. Something experienced the same thing. Something heard that siren go on. Something hears this car. Something. But we don't pay attention to that all day. What am I going to do? I have this, that. Oh, my paper's due tomorrow. I have to get my computer fixed. When I get to the Mac store, I get my computer. Well, I got to change my computer. My roommate owes me $10. I'll get the money tomorrow. Oh, I have to get around and around. We're following our thinking. And when we follow and attach to our thinking, we don't perceive this world as it is. Right now, a car is passing outside. So usually, 98% of the time, we function from our thinking. When our thinking is mistaken, we cause injury to people. But when you function from your nature, when you see, just see. When you hear, just hear. When you smell, just smell. When you taste, just taste. In this moment. Functioning from this point, then your life is very clear. Then your action is clear. Then your life is clear. And this world is clear. But when you're functioning from your thinking, good thinking, bad thinking, Buddhist thinking, Christian thinking, Democratic thinking, Republican thinking, then your thinking cannot really help this world. It's a very interesting story I often tell. A lot of you guys, since you folks study in the city, you'll be able to understand that, connect with this a little bit. My teacher is this great, very well-known Zen master in the West, as well as here in Korea especially. And in the 1970s, when he started teaching in America, he sometimes Korean monks would come to America for the first time, and he would always have them tour around Manhattan or LA or whatever, just to get a sense of what is America, give them a little sightseeing tour as a first-time visitor. So one day, one of these Korean monks was coming, and one of my monastic brothers, he's an American monk, he's dead now, but he was born and raised in Hawaii, American guy, but his mother was Korean, his father's Chinese. So he's Asian features, Asian ethnic background, but born and raised in America, just like anyone. He's an American guy. But he cut his hair and became a monk, wearing this clothing. And when this Korean monk came to America one day, our teacher said to this monk, his name was Hyun Gak Sunim, the American guy, said, Hyun Gak Sunim, tomorrow there's a Korean monk coming. He's never been to America. Take him around Manhattan. Show him New York City, so he understands a little bit what is America. So Hyun Gak said, okay. So they still have it now in Manhattan, the Circle Line Tour. It's the boat that goes around Manhattan. We always look at it and we make jokes at it. And so they got on the Circle Line Tour with all the other tourists. And on the top deck, they have their heads shaved and they have this very interesting clothing on. Because they're both these Asian guys standing on the top deck of this boat as it goes past the Statue of Liberty. At that time, the World Trade Center was still there. It was the 1970s. The buildings of Manhattan. And the top deck is full of tourists. So they're walking around just looking at stuff, kind of just checking things out as monks. And they notice at the back end of the boat, there's this film crew. A guy with a kind of one of these cameras on his shoulder, a news camera on his shoulder, and another guy with a suit and tie and a microphone, interviewing other tourists on the boat, kind of having a laugh with them. So finally the film crew gets a little closer and comes up to Hyun Gak Sunim and this Korean monk. And he kind of smiles. The interviewer guy kind of smiles as he gets close to Hyun Gak Sunim, like, we got a sucker here. So he goes up to him and he goes, "Hi, my name is Jim Roberts, Channel 56, Community Access Television. We're representing the Laugh-A-Lot show, the Laugh-A-Lot comedy show. Every week we have a different question. This week's question is, what's the most disgusting thing?" And he points the microphone to Hyun Gak Sunim. And Hyun Gak Sunim says, "Who are you?" And the guy says, "Well, I'm Jim Roberts, very famous guy, very famous Jim Roberts. You probably see me in People magazine, whatever. I'm Jim Roberts. This is a very famous program, the Laugh-A-Lot show. Every week, different question. This week question, sir," maybe you didn't understand. "This week question is, in the whole world, what's the most disgusting thing?" And Hyun Gak Sunim says, "Who are you?" And the guy says, "Jim Roberts. Jim Roberts. Channel 56. 56. Television. Television. Maybe your country, you also television. This a comedy program. Very, ha ha ha. Comedy program. Every week, different question.